A family of 3 took my dog from me. They told me she was theirs, my Luna. But something didn't feel right. There was a lie hidden behind their smiles, a darkness I couldn't see. And that's when everything spiraled, out of control. I was walking Luna through the park on a quiet Friday afternoon. The air was crisp, the kind that clears your head. Luna, she wasn't just a dog, she was everything. When my girlfriend left me, Luna stayed. When I lost my job and slept in my car, Luna curled against me to keep me warm. She was my anchor, my reason to keep going. Then it happened. A couple approached, a man and a woman. Their child trailed behind, clutching a stuffed toy. The woman's eyes welled with tears the second she saw Luna. The man's hands shook as he pulled out his phone, swiping through photos. Pictures of Luna, or at least, a dog that looked exactly like her. The same coat, the same smile, the same eyes. My chest tightened. He said Luna had been their dog, lost 2 years ago, that she slipped out of their backyard and never came home. The woman sobbed, whispering about how broken they'd been since. Then, he made an offer. $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, all the way up to $15,000. Cash, on the spot. My heart sank, my hands trembled. How could I take money for Luna if she truly belonged to them? What kind of person would I be? With tears streaming down my face, I choked out the words, "If she's yours, take her, for free." They leashed her, thanked me in broken voices, and walked her to their silver sedan. The child giggled as the car door shut. Then they were gone. The silence they left behind cut me in half. But something wasn't right. Days passed. My apartment felt like a coffin. I scrolled through forums late at night, unable to sleep. And then I saw it. A post. A warning. Beware of couples pretending to reclaim lost dogs. They target retrievers. They cry. They beg. They show fake photos. They take your dog and disappear. My blood turned to ice. The description matched them exactly. Same silver sedan, same fake smiles. Another photo surfaced, grainy, snapped in a parking lot. The same couple, with another retriever. Not Luna, a different dog. The comments beneath it all said the same thing. They weren't grieving owners. They were predators. Predators who sold dogs like Luna overseas. I stared at the screen until my vision blurred. English cream retrievers could sell for $20,000 in East Asia. Luna wasn't their family. She was their payday. That's when Mason reached out. An online contact I'd never met, but one who'd been tracking these people for months. He sent me footage. Their silver sedan pulling another cage into a warehouse. He even had the plates. They weren't just scammers, they were organized. Rage consumed me. I had given them Luna. I had delivered her into their hands, but I wasn't going to let them keep her. Not this time, because Celine was still out there. And worse, the syndicate was watching. For a brief moment, I thought the storm had passed. Victor was locked away. Families had their dogs back. The world seemed brighter, quieter. But then Celine resurfaced. She was caught at the Canadian border, smuggling documents in a hollowed-out suitcase. When the news broke, I felt my pulse spike. Finally, she would face justice. Detective Ramirez called me personally. "She's willing to talk," she said. "She wants a deal. She says she can name the leaders." The leaders, the ones pulling the strings, the ones we'd only seen shadows of. For the first time, there was hope that this syndicate could actually fall. But hope doesn't last. 2 weeks before she was set to testify, Celine was found dead in her cell. Official report, suicide, but no one believed it. Not me, not Ramirez, not Mason. Her death was too clean, too convenient. And the files she'd promised to deliver? Gone. The message came the next day. An unmarked envelope slid under my door. Inside, a single photograph. It showed me and Luna asleep on the couch, taken from inside my apartment. Scrawled across the back in black marker, "We are closer than you think." My stomach dropped, my vision blurred. This wasn't intimidation anymore. This was a promise. Mason dug deeper, tracing shell companies, offshore accounts, names buried under layers of false ownership. Each trail led to another dead end, but every so often, one thread came back to the same thing: an organization with ties in 3 countries, spanning ports, airlines, and even vets. This wasn't a ring. This was an empire. Meanwhile, I was unraveling. I checked locks 3 times before bed. I stared at every passing car too long. Every stranger on the street looked like an enemy. Even Luna sensed it. She stuck to me like glue, ears perked at every sound. The FBI offered relocation, witness protection. But how do you hide when the people you're up against own the shadows? Number, I wasn't running. Then came the night I woke to a noise in my apartment. Not the creak of old pipes, not the hum of the fridge, a soft scrape, a footstep. I grabbed the bat from under my bed, heart slamming against my ribs. I crept into the living room. The window was open, curtains swaying in the breeze. On the table, a single dog collar. Not Luna's, a different one, blood still wet on the leather. It wasn't just about Luna anymore. They were sending a message. And I realized then, the fight wasn't over, it was only beginning. After that night, sleep was impossible. I sat in the dark with the bloody collar on the table in front of me, Luna pressed against my leg. Every shadow felt alive. Every sound felt like a warning. But fear only fueled resolve. The Stolen Hearts Recovery Network grew. What started as a handful of victims became dozens: pet owners, activists, even ex-law enforcement. All of us connected by the same wound, something precious stolen. Mason tracked finances. Rowan handled logistics. Dr. Avery built a registry for stolen pets. And Detective Ramirez, she held the line between us and chaos. We weren't just defending ourselves anymore, we were striking back. The syndicate struck first. A warehouse fire in Tacoma, every rescued dog waiting for transport to new homes. Gone. I stood in the ashes, the smell of smoke and charred metal suffocating me. That was their message. We can take everything from you, whenever we want. But then Mason uncovered something that changed the game. Hidden in financial records was a name, a consistent one. Caspian Ward, not Victor, not Celine. Someone higher, someone untouchable. A man who owned transport companies, airlines, even vet clinics across 3 states. The real kingpin. The FBI hesitated. Too powerful, too connected. But Ramirez didn't. We take him down, or this never ends, she said. So we planned. Weeks of surveillance. Rowan's cousin watching containers at the port. Mason digging through encrypted files. Me watching Luna like a hawk, never letting her out of arm's reach. And then the break came. A shipment scheduled for midnight. Dogs, hundreds of them, bound for Shanghai. We staked out the docks. Cold air stung my skin, the sea black as oil. Rows of containers lined the yard, cranes looming overhead like skeletons. And then headlights. A convoy of trucks rolled in. Victor's replacements, men with cold eyes, no hesitation. And in the middle of them all, Caspian Ward himself. Tall, immaculate suit. A man who didn't need to get his hands dirty, but came anyway. I felt my throat tighten. This was it. Ramirez whispered through the earpiece. Wait for my signal. But I couldn't. Not when I saw her. In the back of a truck, Luna's face pressed against the bars of a cage. She'd been taken again. My vision blurred red. The world narrowed to one point. That cage, that truck, that man. Right. Rowan grabbed my arm. You'll get us all killed. But I shook him off, because nothing mattered anymore. Not me, not the plan, only Luna. I bolted. Shouts erupted. Floodlights snapped on. Gunmen raised weapons. Ramirez screamed in my ear. Stand down! Stand down! But I was already at the truck, wrenching the lock. Hands bleeding, heart pounding like a war drum. And then, chaos. The FBI stormed in, agents pouring from unmarked vans, shouting commands. Gunfire cracked, echoing across the docks. Dogs barked, howled, cages rattling like thunder. Through the smoke, I saw Caspian Ward watching, calm, cold, and then slipping away into the dark. As if none of this touched him, I yanked the door open, pulled Luna into my arms. Her body trembled against mine, but she was alive. She was here. Rowan covered me as bullets tore through metal. Ramirez's voice roared through the chaos, leading the raid. By dawn, dozens of dogs had been freed, trucks seized, guns confiscated, but Caspian Ward was gone. The news called it the largest pet trafficking bust in U.S. history. But I didn't feel victorious. Not with Ward still out there, not with Celine's warning echoing in my head. This is bigger than us. They'll kill you. That night, Luna slept curled at my side, safe, breathing steady, but my eyes never closed, because I knew the war wasn't over. It had only just begun. Weeks passed. The headlines faded. The world moved on. But I couldn't. Even with Victor in prison and Celine gone, I woke every night at the slightest sound. Sometimes I swore I saw figures in the shadows across the street. Sometimes I swore I heard footsteps following me. Caspian Ward had vanished like smoke, and the silence he left behind was worse than the chaos. The trial against Victor dragged on. His lawyers painted me as obsessed, unstable, a vigilante who endangered innocent lives. They paraded falsified documents, doctored medical notes, even a so-called expert claiming Luna wasn't mine. But then Dr. Avery stepped up. She held up Luna's microchip, explained how she kept it when the syndicate begged her to destroy it. The courtroom went still, and when Harold, the old man who had lost his Labrador, broke down on the stand, describing how his dog saved him after his wife's death, the jury's eyes filled with tears. My turn came. I described the cage, the smell of urine, the weak thump of Luna's tail against rusted steel. Even Victor looked away. The verdict: guilty on all counts, 25 years, no parole. Families cried outside the courthouse. Children held their dogs tight, afraid to let go. And for the first time in months, I felt like maybe we had done something good. The Stolen Hearts Recovery Network exploded in size. Volunteers across the country, vets registering microchips, dock workers tipping off suspicious shipments, ordinary people fighting back. For once, we weren't alone. For once, it felt like the tide could turn. Luna healed slowly. The limp faded. Her tail wagged stronger. One morning, she even bounded across the yard, chasing a ball like she used to, and I laughed, a sound I hadn't heard from myself in months, but the shadows never truly lifted. One night, a package arrived. No return address. Inside, a single photograph. Caspian Ward, standing on a balcony somewhere far away, glass of wine in hand, looking straight into the camera, and on the back, written in the same black marker as before, "This is not over." I stood there, photograph trembling in my hand, Luna pressed against my leg. Her warm breath anchored me, kept me from sinking into fear. I knew what it meant. The war wasn't over. It might never be over. But I also knew this. They could send their threats. They could send their spies. They could burn warehouses and vanish into the dark, but they would never break us. Not me, not Luna, not the families who had lost and fought and clawed their way back. Because this wasn't just about dogs anymore. It was about what they represented: love, loyalty, family. And if the syndicate wanted a war, then they'd chosen the wrong enemy. If you like this story and want to see more stories like this, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments down below.